Consider the stillness of the room around you right now. In this explainer, we're confronting a reality that most of us, well, we actively try to avoid it. We're stepping straight into the shadows of your daily routine. And look, what we find here, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary. So prepare yourself. We are literally decoding the architecture of your own mind. Because the truth is, you're in a loop. Picture that lonely room at night, the oppressive quiet, the singular, cold glow of a phone illuminating an exhausted face in the dark. You know the feeling, right? You wake up tired, and before your feet even touch the floor, you just surrender. You start scrolling through the absolute chaos of the world, quietly bleeding away the most crucial moments of your day. You waste time, you regret it, and then you do it all over again.
It's this strange paradox where every day feels different, but your life stays exactly the same. Tick, tick, tick. It's just this agonizing repetition of wasted potential. You tell yourself, just 5 more minutes, I swear. You make these hollow promises that tomorrow will be the day you finally change it all. But tomorrow just becomes today, and the days blur into this constant, overwhelming stream of overstimulation and underachievement.
And that physical act, the endless scrolling in the darkness, that is not an accident. You have to understand you are interacting with heavily engineered algorithms that operate on what's called a variable reward mechanism. Think of it literally like a slot machine. You never know what the next swipe is going to bring, right? This unpredictability creates a dopamine feedback loop, practically chaining your attention to the glass long after the actual pleasure is gone.
Now listen to me closely on this. This isn't laziness. This is mental imprisonment. When you look at your own exhausted face in the mirror, it is so incredibly easy to feel guilt, to believe that you just lack willpower. But I want to completely shatter that guilt for you right now. You are battling platforms designed by thousands of brilliant engineers whose sole purpose is to hijack your attention. Stopping requires immense effort, but continuing, that requires absolutely none.
And this brings us to a frankly terrifying psychological reality: digital learned helplessness. The research shows that when you're repeatedly exposed to uncontrollable events, we're talking infinite scrolls, autoplaying videos, totally frictionless interfaces, your brain simply stops trying. It gives up. You experience hundreds of these micro moments every single day where your choices feel utterly meaningless. You are, quite literally, being actively trained to surrender.
So what exactly are we surrendering to? Doom scrolling. See, our brains have this built-in survival mechanism. It's a negativity bias. And algorithms exploit this ruthlessly by constantly prioritizing catastrophic content. You compulsively consume negative news because your brain is desperately looking for a sense of safety, but the trap of the infinite scroll ensures you never actually find it. You just find sheer, overwhelming exhaustion.
Let's map out how this descent actually happens. First, there's the constant exposure to uncontrollable digital stimuli. This leads directly into a perceived loss of control. Your effort feels completely useless, which naturally pulls you into passive behavior. Giving up way too quickly on difficult tasks in the real world, and finally, the habit strengthens. Every single time you run through this tunnel, your real-world resilience is quietly, methodically eroded. Because there is a literal biological war happening inside your head right now. On one side, you have the amygdala, your ancient alarm system, the part driving all that impulsivity. On the other side, the prefrontal cortex, the logical center responsible for self-control. Engaging with these short-form algorithms actively fires up the amygdala while simultaneously deactivating your prefrontal cortex. These platforms are quite literally turning off the exact part of your brain that you need to resist them.
But here is the harsh truth. No one is coming to save you. Yes, the trap is heavily engineered, absolutely. But at the end of the day, your finger makes the swipe. The loop survives because you keep feeding it. If you ever want to break free, you must first take absolute, uncompromising responsibility for your own attention.
There's a brilliant quote by Viktor Frankl: "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And that space is our power to choose our response. And this right here, this is where your rebellion begins. When the phone vibrates, that is the stimulus. Your automatic reaction to grab it is the response. But if you can widen that microscopic space, you step out of that animalistic amygdala and you step back into conscious control."
So how do we actually widen that space? Well, it requires rebuilding your top-down control. When the urge to doom scroll hits you, do not blindly react. Name the emotion. Silently say to yourself, "This is anxiety," or "This is boredom." Neuroscience actually proves that simply labeling the emotion calms the amygdala down. You shift from actively feeling the emotion to just observing it. You are no longer the emotion, you become the master, watching it pass by. To help with this, here is your tactical playbook. It's called the STOP practice. S stands for stop. Just freeze the impulse. T means take a breath. The single physical act delays your response and fundamentally breaks the chain. O is for observe. Watch the rationalizations your brain tries to make, but don't feel them. And finally, P, proceed. With your prefrontal cortex back online, proceed with actual intention. Reclaim your hour.
Look, the digital world is only going to get more addictive. You can choose to remain a passive participant in your own cognitive decline, or you can wake up, step out of the shadows of learned helplessness, and rebuild your mind, one conscious decision at a time. Destroy the loop before it destroys you. The only question left is, what are you going to do with your next 5 minutes?